Welcome again. Our new session will start soon, and we have Barış Şahin. He will be talking about portfolio development for 3D artists and how to present our portfolio to attract the attention of the business development managers. Now inviting him. Hello, welcome. You can start whenever you're ready. Okay, now I am sharing my screen now. I think you can see it, right? Yes. Okay, welcome everyone. I would like to thank the Indieway team for inviting me. Let me introduce myself. I'm Barış Şahin. For 4 or 5 years, I'm working as a character artist. I'm working in Metaverse Studio. My objective, my job definition is a creative artist. In the past, I used to work in the development processes of an RTS game. My job was there about modeling the architectural units and structures. And before, I worked in modeling projects. I did 3D printing related jobs and projects. And prior to these periods, I studied in academy in the Department of Animation. My specialty was based on 3D modeling back then and in texture painting. Today, what I will be talking about is the education that I received in the university and the experience that I got from the business life. This is the outline of my short presentation. The title of my presentation is 3D Artist Journey, which will be based on the portfolios, because as you know, the portfolio is the most important thing for 3D artists. For years, we have been developing our portfolio. Our portfolio is the first thing that is shown to the person in charge when we are applying for a job. As you know, for the last couple of years, the gaming industry is increasingly getting enhanced and will be better in years. And as the technologies like NFT and cryptocurrencies and blockchain are, the job definition of ours is getting more popular, and the competition is getting more and more. And in this environment, in this competitive environment, I want to show how to enhance ourselves to step up. Let me talk about the outline of my presentation. That firstly, I will be talking about the 3D programs, the 3D softwares. As I said, it's a very popular one. Is there anyone? Maybe there are some people here who wish to be a 3D artist soon for the game companies. And then I will be talking about where to start in our career journey, how we can get our specialty, in which I will be talking about the education I received from university. The education, the training that I had is the thing that I want to mention. And also I will be mentioning the opportunities that anyone can get except academy. So softwares, these are the softwares that I use personally. I classified them in 3 different titles. So main softwares are Maya or Blender, in which you can get the fundamentals of the modeling. These are the softwares in which you create the worlds within the software and wander around. If you are into the character modeling, you can use ZBrush or 3D Code. ZBrush is the prominent one. I can recommend it. And apart from that, it'll be better to know a texture painting programs. You can think them as a coloring programs, coloring softwares. And of course, there are some game engines. From my own experience, I didn't use game engines in depth in the industry. I do not import the character that I created into the Unreal Engine. I'm not doing so. If you're working in different fields, maybe you should know, but personally, I do not do it. Normally, the question asked to me is where to start, which one I should start with. The answer starts with the question, is there any company that you wish to work in future? Maybe you can see the job descriptions, job postings of these companies. Maybe you can get information from the job postings of the companies that you desire to work. This is an image that I really like. This is actually applicable for movies, but animation and game is similar. You can see how an idea is being visualized and prepared in the production pipeline. As the artists, we start in the modeling and we take roles in different parts of this process up to rendering. All right, where to start then? Let me briefly talk about this as well. Let me give an example about the education in the academy. First, they showed us 3D programming, and the first project I did was they expected us to create a character based on a concept that we like. We started modeling it, and then we did the texture, and then we made a moving or running animation of the character by using small lights. It was a short and simple render, a simple project that we did. So it was the project that took 15 weeks for the first semester. So you can create your own project by yourselves. Keep it simple, not that long. And after creating such example, they asked us decide on the aspect you really like, and you go on that path. But you don't have to be on the single path. You can enhance yourself, improve yourself in different fields. You can create a fundamental mentality, and you can select the field that you like, and you can be an expert on that. Or you can get short experiences from different fields. Let me talk about the specialty. Let me talk about the expertise. This is actually something that we need to decide in the way of our career, not at the start. You can think of a two path. So each path have their own advantage. One of them is to be an expert in the field in which you are in. For example, you can be a character artist, 3D character artist. You can be a 3D environment artist, prop artist, animator, lighting artist. So you can decide on a niche field, and you can improve yourself on each field. On the other side, on the other path, you can work as a 3D artist that have an expertise on all fields. All of them have their own advantage and disadvantage. Of course, being an expert in a single field is really important. You can work in many multi-layered and re-owned projects in the industry. Why? Because big companies have big budgets for their big games, and they can employ many people, and finally the output is more diverse. But the other path is the path that is embraced by indie companies more. A couple of 3D artists can work in many fields, but there the game gets simpler and simpler. But do not think that simple is bad. Please think that it is less layered game. So it is also related the things that you are satisfied with. If we work on a big project, you are actually working a single project of that big game, right? You work on, for example, you are just a small piece of the whole cake. You can be satisfied with it, but on the other side, on the other path, you can have a great role for a simple project or short project. Please do not think that you need to go on the path that you already have chosen, but there are some, examples. There are some people who entered in a studio, they feel that the position is not for them, and then they changed the career path of theirs, and they go towards the indie games, for example. So it will change depending on the experience that you receive in time. Let me give you an example. When you look at the Astroneer on the left-hand side, there is a great documentary of the Astroneer on YouTube. You can watch it. You can see that the models are simple. I think this game was created by 4 or 5 people. So you see the models are really simple. You can see a 3D artist can do each of them. There is no texture expertise. It's a simple one. You see No Man's Sky and Outer Worlds on the right side, which has a big atmosphere, rich in visuals, with thousands of props, and many people worked to create them, right? So finally, they're all games eventually. So in this stage of my presentation, I will be talking about what I have learned in the art school, the education I received. I've been thinking about this for a long time. There is a question, do we have to get education from the academy? I've been thinking about them for a long time. That's why I wanted to talk about it. And I created 4 different titles. These are the titles that is being taught on you in the school. So these might be the knowledge that you cannot get from the internet, because as 3D artists, we are trying to keep up with the technology and get the command of each software, many software. Sometimes we cannot enhance our artistic skill sets while focusing on the softwares. So this is the thing that the art school is teaching you. They enhance your aesthetic and artistic focus. So there's nothing that you miss because you didn't study in the art school. You can enhance, improve yourselves on your own as you watch a YouTube tutorial. This is the same thing that you see on the school as well. Right. The first title, references. Reference is the pillar of a project. It's about the creating a ground for a project before starting it. I see that not a lot of people place importance on references, which I do too. Everyone wants to get into the job as soon as possible. Sometimes they do not allocate their time on references enough. The more references, more diverse references, the more quality the project will be conducting. So there is a percentage there, 10% over time should be allocated for references. This is the percentage that I made up. But for example, if your project is based on 30 days, maybe one of the 30 days may be based on the finding references. So Pinterest is a great example, great resource to find references. Pinterest can show you the related recommendations, related images based on your own style and like. For example, if you're into the medieval or sci-fi themes, you can create billboards and portfolios there. You can add and invite your friends there. You can create references. You can import images from outer sources. ArtStation, Instagram are other examples. For example, you can follow the professional photographers on Instagram. ShotTech is a great one as well. It's a website that collects images from movies. Reddit might be another one. If you write cyberpunk on Reddit, you see different boards on Reddit related to cyberpunk. You can collect more there. And there is some printed sources as well, art books of movies and games. They're expensive and not easy to achieve. Magazines are also a great source. National Geographic, Atlas, they're great resources that shows different natural features from different parts of the world. They show the portraits of the local people, photos, portraits of people, which I really like. They give some inspiration for you as well. Sometimes we encounter the photographs of the professional photographers, and it gives us the knowledge on the composition. You see the angle or the light technique of the artist. In addition, sometimes on the internet, sometimes on the mobile websites, I think we spend less time on them on our mobile phones, but in the printed ones, when we have the art book or magazines, we look more. I feel like boomer, but I think it gives us more inspiration compared to the practice that we normally see on the internet. Another point is feedback. Of course, after we collect our references, let's imagine that we are working on a project. It is really important to receive feedback at the start and at the last stage of the project. So we work on some projects hours and hours. Sometimes we allocate and we dedicate most of our time. When you focus on a game so much, sometimes you can be distracted. For example, let's imagine that you are creating a character and you focus on the face of that character more. But let's say that the arms are too long. Sometimes your eyes are very used to the arms, which you do not notice. Sometimes, thanks to some feedbacks, you realize that the arms are too long. So feedbacks help us to reduce risks and reduce the risk of distraction. Different window, different perspectives will be shown in feedbacks. You can have the feedbacks from your friends, from visual artists. Maybe you can contact with the artists that you like. You can get feedbacks from different backgrounds. There are some questions. What would you do, or what would you do different? You know, sometimes a stranger that you don't know normally hesitates to comment on your work. Sometimes they hesitate to criticize it. So that's why you break that hesitation by asking. And also, the providing feedback is other side of the coin. If you're in an environment, for example, in which you get regular feedback, if the negative is mostly based on negative aspects of your work, sometimes the person's motivation decreases. So there is a method of feedback sandwich that I want to introduce to you. Feedback sandwich is about providing feedback in a positive manner, and then add the negative aspects of the project, the gaps that needs to be fulfilled. And at the last stage of the feedback, you add a little bit positive feedback as well, and you give it as a package. I think studios should use this method. So presentation is the other thing, which is really important. The new starters do not place importance on presentation more. In school, this was mostly underlined. Composition is a deep one, actually. You can research on the internet on how to create a composition, a comprehensive composition. What I mean by composition here in this presentation is how we fit the model in a scene. As you can see, there are some gaps on the sides of this model. I can see the arrows there. When we crop it, we see that the character is on the font more compared to the previous one. So small change creates a big difference. Another topic is not using enough light. Maybe I can show you by using ArtStation. So these are the character modeling category of ArtStation on the trending website. You can see the works. Maybe dying light dominated the page, but let me look at the projects there. Look at the shadows here. Look at the use of the light things. Not every work is under dark light. Light is used as a plan in all of the works here, as you can see. Of course, the trending part, these are the works from professionals. You can see that they are clean and with clear light. This is the way that we need to create our path towards. So we are creating textures, modelings. We put a lot of effort on them sometimes, but we cannot show them properly. So that's why lighting is really important. I cannot say that the 3-point lighting is something that I'm really good at. You can research on that on how to use 3-point lighting. If you use 3-point lighting on across the character, you will see that the character will have great light. Another point is pose your character. Instead of T-pose, as you can see on the right side, you see it keeps your character alive and vivid. So a short, simple pose will be beneficial for you. As you know, there is a website called Mixamo. When you put the 3D character, when you put your 3D character in a T form, it shows you different poses to you. Another point is to provide your own story. Sometimes I read the interviews of the recruiters, recruitment managers. This is the thing that they always say. When you create a work, you need to place a short description which shows why you did this. You need to provide a short bio of your story. I saw that a lot of people from HR place importance on that. It shows the character of yours and reflects your character. This is the last stage, collaboration. Collaboration is the concept that universities place significance. Collaboration is about creating projects collaboratively with many people. You can meet a developer as 3D artist through LinkedIn or other social media platforms. Maybe you can meet with social media artists. You can create projects. It will not be a normal one, but you can create a model. You can create interaction animation of the character. So that'll be a great job for you. Although this is a small project, it will teach you more. You will be solving big problems. So a small projects will be beneficial for you if you haven't entered into the industry already. You can put it on your CV as well. You can tell that I have participated in a collaborative work. This is a beneficial, especially for those freshly graduated. Let's say that you did your project, but developer has just quitted your project. But of course, eventually you will have your 3D modeling, which can be shown on your CV. So let me talk about development of portfolios. These are the points that I have heard from the lectures from school, or some points from speakers from the conferences I have participated. So first of all, be consistent. Being consistent is a thing that is mostly mentioned, which means about reflection of your portfolio. Your portfolio might be diverse. Sorry, it might not be diverse. Maybe it'll be based only on the characters, or sci-fi models only, or medieval type of models, or fantastic themes. So if you show your own portfolio which targets single theme, will reflect your specific target. For example, if your company is based on a real project, if they see your portfolio, it'll be there will be more chance for you to be employed. This will be possible in time, but we need to work on that. I cannot say, for example, personally, my portfolio is not solely based on a single theme yet. All right. Another thing is a motto, the popular one, quality over quantity. Having less products, less assets with higher quality is better than having more things in middle quality. Sometimes a job is being, a lot of people apply for a job posting, and the recruitment managers do not spend any second on your portfolio. They just look at on your portfolio, but they do not click on the each element. If you have many assets, many elements on your portfolio, sometimes the best project, best models of yours can be ignored. You shouldn't add the homemade models or sketches on your portfolio. I personally put my sketches on my Instagram account. You can create different web pages or social media accounts in which you present the sketches only. Other point is procedural textures. For example, you are creating a wall texture. Normally, they put the brick texture on the wall. They use smart masks from Substance textures. They just place not much importance on the model. They just put some simple assets on it. So we need to improve our artistic mentality there. We need to find the references. If we should, for example, find a stained wall, and we need to show what we have created to improve that example. Those who are into the substance would know it. People normally say that the works of everyone start to be similar because everyone is using the same assets and the software. But normally what you need to do is to make your work rich and not think simple. You need to use references. Another point is working from the others concept art. This is important as well. As 3D artists, what we do is like this. We get a job assignment. It can be 3D or 2D drawings. We make that 2D drawings into a 3D models. In the employment, this is important because you are being assigned a 2D drawing. They see how you put into a 3D model. Maybe you can try to implement 2D drawings of the popular artists into 3D models. You will enhance your talents and skill on 3D modeling. You can put it in a portfolio by giving references, of course, citing them. You can put the original one as well. It'll be beneficial for you. Let me talk about my own project as well. Let me show my own portfolio. I want to show my portfolio here. I want to criticize my own portfolio because I've noticed that I didn't update my portfolio for a long time. As you enhance your work, touching on your work, updating your work will be beneficial for you as well. This is my portfolio. I saw that I am more into the character artists. So as you can see, in the past, I had some vehicles and motors. Maybe I can delete them. There is another material here. Maybe I can delete them. Maybe I can place it in another sector, another category. We can split into 2 or 3. One of them might be customized one, and one of might be different one. So some of them have no textures, for example. I can take a look into them and change. I want to show this org model here. This is the first version of the model that I created. As you can see, this is not a dynamic one. It's a rigid without no atmosphere. So I think it was done in a hurry, and I didn't like it actually. Then I have changed and updated the model. I rendered it, and I did something as well. I added something when I found time. So this was the atmosphere that I created in one single day with a different lighting. I wanted to show the character different lighting and atmosphere. And I did the posing and animation of the character here. As you can see, the same model without any atmosphere or lighting. This is the final version of the previous one. As you can see, the presentation. It changed the whole project, the whole model. As you can see, I did not have any feedback for the previous one, but now the final version attracted attention. As you can see, as I said, in time you can play, you can focus more and more on to your portfolio and customize it, or you can think in a generalized, generic form and create diverse projects. Okay, let me talk about the trouble of side projects. So I think most of you have experienced too. I personally experienced this. This is something that everyone can complain. So side projects is like, I'm talking about the personal projects. When we work personally, if you do a personal job, it can take a couple of months or a couple of weeks, you know, but sometimes we don't have the same excitement that we had on the first day, and we lose our motivation. Sometimes we say that let's give a break and focus on a different project, and I go back to the one. But this is not the case all the time. The side project, sometimes you like your side project more and the previous one can be ignored, and side project can be a main one. And then in addition to that, you create new side projects beside it. And then you eventually have many projects, many uncompleted projects. This is something you need to place importance on. There's a tactic that I recently found, which helped me a lot in this process. And at the first stage of this year, I've decided that I can create a challenge of 30 days. And this challenge, I did ZBrush modeling in 1 hour in each day. And I created lists, each day a different model. So I did different works in that will take 1 hour. And I've noticed that I have another main project, but then I have lost the excitement of making side projects. So the most important thing is here is to complete that project. That will take 1 hour in 1 hour and focus on the other main projects. So you can create the challenge of 1 hour, for example. So that was my challenge. It improved my speed and my skill set. And also it taught me the time management concept. I very recommend you to create a challenge for you. You can create new projects, short ones. I've learned from a video of a YouTuber, Barış Şahin. I used to post a story on my Instagram account, for example. You need to show to others as well. You need to announce it. So I took it as a responsibility to post stories and make everyone know about it. You can do it as well. You can say that I did it for 30 days and I'm planning to go back that challenge later on. So that was all from me. Thank you very much for your attention. This presentation aimed at increasing your artistic side of yours. I didn't talk anything in detail about the technical part, but I'm looking forward to do so. Maybe I can talk about later about the softwares. Maybe I can create workshops through Discord to show some tips from softwares on ZBrush or Blender. Some tips. You can follow me on LinkedIn to see and get news from my activity. Thank you very much. I hope to see you again in a physical way. Pandemic is being over slowly and physical events are getting more and more. I hope to see you there. If you see me, give me a salute and we can discuss. Thank you very much, Barış Şahin, for your participation. Some of our panelists said, we want workshop too. Yes, I will be happy to. Thank you very much. See you. Thank you. Goodbye.